Welcome to All Things Seniors, a podcast for caregivers. If you are a caregiver or someone who is looking to learn about challenges and solutions pertaining to seniors, you are at the right place. We created this podcast to support all caregivers so that while you are driving, cooking, or working out, you can listen to those episodes from this podcast which pertains to your needs the most. In each episode, we will have an industry expert who will share their wisdom and knowledge with you to help you better serve your loved ones. So let's dive right into All Things Seniors.
Hello, and welcome to All Things Seniors. This is your host, Rafiq Punjani. Did you know that over 500,000 Canadians are currently living with dementia? Over 10% of those Canadians with dementia are being cared for in hospitals, even though this is not an ideal location for care for them. Dementia is not just a Canadian challenge, it's a global issue, and complex one as well. It affects families financially, emotionally, culturally. It affects their life overall. And then there are some great people around the world who are spreading the movement to empower families affected by dementia. One such person is with us today, who is arguably world's most renowned speaker and educator on the subject of dementia, Teepa Snow. Teepa is an occupational therapist with 40 years of rich and varied clinical and academic experience. She presents with extraordinary expertise and humor to audiences large and small throughout the world. Welcome to our show, Teepa.
Well, thanks for having me here. And I've got to say that when you look at the cost, the financials are staggering. But the greater cost, I think, that's underrated is how it's tearing people apart emotionally, but physiologically. This is hard work. And yes, it's emotional work, but it's also physically draining work when we're talking about people needing a level of support in the later stages of dementia that we are now asking families to take on.
Yeah, you're so right. And Teepa, I understand that when you are working with families and when you are helping them through your courses, through your lectures, or one-on-one, you often talk about positive approach towards this care. Tell us more about that. What do you mean by positive approach?
So one of the things that happens when people develop dementia is their brains are dying. Now, that's not a very positive statement, but until the person dies, there's some of their brain still alive. The challenge is it isn't as much as it used to be. And it's tricky because there are chemical changes and there are structural changes. And the chemical changes may mean that I can do it this morning, I can't do it in the afternoon. I can do it 5 minutes ago, I can't do it now. I can't do it now, but in a half hour, I do it again. And it's like, ugh. So for a human brain, what that means is I can't predict you all the time. And when I'm a family member, if I can't predict what you're going to do, it means I have to watch you more carefully. And if I have to watch you more carefully, I want to be closer and keep an eye on you. But I have other responsibilities. And so what's the positive part of that? Well, the better you understand sort of how people's brains do change. And when you hear me say or do something or you see something, then there is predictability. So, for instance, if I were to say to you, listen, I need to go home, and I'm standing in the house I've lived in for 40 years, what's your first thought? What do you think?
This is odd.
This doesn't make any sense. And we often hear it more in the afternoon than we do in the morning in a family, and it's called sundown. Because what's happening is the part of my brain, the hippocampal area, which is a deep in the brain place that keeps track of remembering things, learning and remembering things, finding places and ways to get to and from places, and keeping up with how much time has gone by. So now that I've told you that, now your brain can go, oh, so she doesn't think she lives here, so she's not recognizing the things around her or the situation around her for where we are right now. So if I push her to get that and she can't get it, do you think that's going to make her more positive emotionally toward me or less? What do you think if I push her?
Less.
Yeah. So I'm not going to try that because I've tried that before. I said, Mom, no, this is where you live. And all I get is, that's not where I live. Quit telling me that. I need to get home. I have children. And then I say something like, Mom, I am your daughter. Not you. I'm talking about the other one. And so far, are you feeling positive?
Not at all.
Me either. So why do something that doesn't work and just makes both of us miserable? So instead, if she were to say, listen, I need to get home, I go, okay. So you're needing to get home. Well, Mom, do you need to do something there? You just need to be there. And what I'm starting to do is take charge of the change and say, whoa, she's lost. All right, does she need to go home to do something, or does she just want to be home because this doesn't feel comfortable? And now I've got a direction to travel. Well, I've got to fix supper. Oh, so you've got to get supper ready. Okay, now is that just for you or for somebody else? Well, for the kids. Oh, the kids. Oh, so what were you thinking of fixing? Something really fancy or something simple? Well, I hadn't got that far. Well, tell you what, come in the refrigerator and let's see what we can find.
Wow. Very nice. Yeah.
I mean, so is that better? Yeah. Does it make me use my brain? For sure. But if nobody trains me to do that, how would I have figured all that out?
Exactly. Yeah. So how do people, first of all, even realize that they have a shortcoming?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, they don't. So our problem as the children or the spouses of someone living with dementia is nobody prepares us for this side of it. I get the memory problems, but I'm thinking, well, then if I just prompt her and remind her because she has problems with memory, that'll fix it. And it's like, well, but her brain is having trouble figuring out why she doesn't know something that I seem to know. And some people start to get really anxious about that. And so how did I get so turned around? And now my anxiety kicks up, and that actually makes my brain not work even more. So for a family member, recognizing, wow, what is going on here? I'm not feeling this positive relationship with my mom. I'm feeling like I might be doing something that makes her uncomfortable. If I don't have a timeout, like an awareness timeout, and go, okay, pause, I think I need help. Because this isn't the relationship we had. This isn't our spousal relationship. What's going on here? And if I don't have that moment of pause, I think I need help, I'm in the same boat as my mom, because my mom may or may not know she needs help. And that causes problems because I'm trying to help her, but she doesn't think she needs me. Or she's saying, I need you to help me, but Mom, you can do this. You don't need me to do it. Well, I'm anxious. I don't think I can. And then we take over and do things. Well, what's Mom going to do while I'm taking over other than sit there and feel stupid? And she'll either get angry or she'll, well, don't leave me. Where are you going? Don't go. And now I've got her feeling like she's my anchor and I'm being dragged because I have other things I need to go do. And so this very first level of, ooh, I'm not sure I'm prepared for this thing called dementia, is a critical element to sort of recognizing I need help if I'm going to get through this and keep my brain intact, keep my health intact. It's hard enough even if I do have awareness and knowledge and skill, but without it, all we have is two people who are struggling with this disease.
Wow.
All too often.
This is phenomenal and a totally different perspective. Like many a times people just feel that if my parent is doing something different, how can I bring them back to the line that we have always learned to follow? And this is a totally different perspective that if they are going hayway, just follow them, in a way, patronize them of what they're doing, right? And be their associate. Yeah. Yeah.
So if I want to honor my mom or dad, it's not by trying to make them the person they were to me. It's respecting who they are in that moment. If they think I'm a small child, and it's funny when she says, not you, I'm talking about little Teepa. And it's like, in my brain's going, that's illogical, Mom. You know that I can't be the old Teepa and the little Teepa at the same time, right? And my brain should instead be going, wow, she can hold two of me in her brain at a time. That means there's a real wiring problem going on. So I say more. So you want the little Teepa. Oh, you're talking about the little girl. Yeah. So Mom, is she being a good kid or a bad kid right now, do you think? Well, she's a lot better than you.
Very nice. Yeah.
And so what's the reality? Well, I'm trying to boss her around, and she wants the little kid she bossed around because she noticed the role shift I did. Because I was trying to get her to eat something. I was trying to get her to change her clothes. I was trying to get her, and I was acting like her mom.
Yeah.
And that's not how this is supposed to be. And her brain didn't like it because right now she doesn't like this shift that I'm trying to do. And I've got to figure out a way to get her to let me provide support so that we don't have to have a contentious relationship. It's not healthy for either one of us.
Wonderful. So for caregivers who are listening to it, get early diagnosis, look out for those symptoms, get better in communication, stop forcing your way of life on somebody who is going through dementia, because that's a total different spectrum. And if you figure out that you need help, ask for help, whether it's a family help or it's a professional help. Go out and, find the best care you can for your loved ones.
And for you.
Yeah, and for yourself.
And for you.
Absolutely. Teepa, I loved our conversation. I would have loved that if we had hours more, but I know that, because of restraint of time, we can't. Thank you very much for bringing change in life of so many people around the world. I cannot thank you enough. Listeners, if you like today's episode, please subscribe and review it on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you listen to the show. This way you never miss an episode. Also, check out the show notes for the links that Teepa shared with us. I have taken some notes as well, which I will put all the links there so that it's easier for you to access that. We have some behind-the-scene pictures as well on our Facebook page, All Things Seniors, to make sure that you check that out. Again, Teepa, thank you so much for your time today.
You are so welcome, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to folks in Canada, eh?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And thanks again for listening, you all. I'm your host, Rafiq Punjani, and we will be back next week. Until then, ciao.